The rapid growth of the internet and digital technologies has brought about unprecedented opportunities for young people to connect, learn, and thrive. However, this digital landscape also poses significant risks, particularly in the realm of cybercrime. And in the recent years, there has been a disturbing trend of increasing cybercrime involvement amongst young people. And with many young people becoming both perpetrators and victims of online criminal activities. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us on another interesting episode of Youthconnect on Trust TV. I am Fatima Ahmed. Before we continue this discussion, we'll take a quick break, and when we return, the discussion will continue. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is Youthconnect, coming to you from Trust TV. I have with me Mr. Dele Oyewale. He's the media aide, publicity, and the spokesman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Thank you so much, Mr. Dele, for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the program.
Okay, so for those that don't really understand what the EFCC does, can you give us an insight to what EFCC is all about?
Oh, yeah. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission is the leading agency for the enforcement of all the extant laws concerning economic and financial crimes. It was established in April 2003. And the mission of the commission is to tackle all forms of economic and financial crimes, in whatever way they manifest, and to bring them to their knees, to free Nigeria of all acts of corruption so as to stimulate growth and to trigger development, in all sectors of the economy.
Okay, thank you so much for that insight of what EFCC does. But you can see the numbers of young people that are engaged in crimes, especially online, is becoming alarming. What do you think is the reason for that?
Oh, there are so many reasons. Principally, there is a terrible erosion and desecration of moral values across the country. Terrible parental neglect, exposure of our young people to all manner of vulnerabilities because of the permissive environment where they find themselves. And of course, there is the get-rich-quick syndrome.
Yes.
Materialistic tendency, young people, they want to join the Joneses, they want to achieve what ordinarily should take them a number of years. They want to achieve it in a hurry. So they look for shortcuts. They look for ways and means of beating the system to amass wealth and to also live up to what the standard that they have set for themselves. So because of all of this, they find themselves getting involved in all manner of criminalities, economic, financial crimes, and trying to get money at all costs by all means. So these are some of the causes of youth involvement in economic and financial crimes.
Okay, so do you think peer pressure also plays a role?
Oh yes, peer pressure, very important role. I just told you that they are trying to live up to the expectation of the society and some of the standards they set for themselves. So peer pressure, very negative peer pressure, when they see their friends riding Porsche cars, living in very costly apartments.
Luxurious life.
Luxurious life, and trying to, so they before they know it, they begin to identify with such people, they begin to do what they are doing, they begin to follow the route they are taking, and by and large, they get involved in internet crimes.
And how about unemployment? Because aside from, the parental neglect and peer pressure.
I will not think that unemployment should be a predisposing factor. Poverty and unemployment should not be a basis for criminality. You know, at one time or the other, we have also found ourselves in the labor market, waiting for jobs and trying to, try our hands on one or two things to keep body and soul together. So unemployment should not be
the yardstick.
Yeah, it should not be a basis for indulging in any form of economic and financial crime. Because just like what I told you about parental neglect, you know, children from good homes we know that the very fact that you are not employed is not enough reason for you to get yourself into any criminal act. You know, but because parents are also failing in their responsibility, young people feel that, well, since they cannot get a job, let them help themselves in whatever way they can, which is not the right thing to do. Yeah.
Okay, so amongst all the cyber crimes that young people tend to carry out online, which one do you think is prevalent in Nigeria?
Oh, there are different types of internet crimes. You know, there's what you call romance scam, you know, turning people abroad, you know, making overtures to them, I love you, this and that, and coming up with stories, and in the process, you know, defrauding such people. So there is romance scam. And there is also impersonation. You know, they impersonate foreigners, you know, and they use that to defraud innocent people across the country. It's also a kind of internet crime. Another very dangerous form of internet crime that is becoming very worrisome across the world is what is called sextortion. Sextortion. Now, sextortion is when a minor, you know, when a criminal, a fraudster impersonates himself or herself as belonging to the opposite gender, and they're having communication or conversation with another fellow abroad and asking for the nude picture of such people, and exchanging their nudes, and after that, using that nude to now blackmail the fellow abroad, extorting, blackmailing, asking for money. If you don't send this money, I will get your nude out to the public will get to know. And you know, young people are getting seriously worried about this. We have had so many cases of, you know, young people dying because of that, committing suicide because of the blackmail and all of that. So sextortion is gaining traction, and it's a worrisome thing across the world. And of course, there is what is called business ill-made compromise. That one is a very dangerous one, because hacking into the business, you know, the email system of so many businesses across the world, and in the process, defrauding them, diverting their money, and causing a total wreckage, you know, of their business transaction. And this one involves quite a large sum of money, you know, and it is affecting businesses across the world. You know, so internet crime can take any form, because any crime that is committed through the internet is regarded as an internet crime. It could be advance fee fraud, you know, it could be contract scam, it could be any form of criminality. But some of those ones that we have mentioned, they are ranking as the very, very important ways, you know, young people are defrauding other people across the world.
Okay, so let me take you back a little bit to 2014, where there was a report, you know, that stated cybercrime has damaged the economic statistic globally. And biannually, it's rating that 445 billion, you know, which includes, which says that there is going to be increase in 2025 to the sum of maybe whooping 10.5 billion. How can we tackle this situation if that happens?
It's worrisome. It's very disturbing. But you see, as a commission, the EFCC is ahead of all of these criminals in technology, in resourcefulness, in innovation. The commission is ahead of them by tackling the different modes and modalities of committing the crime. The business email compromise that I just told you about, so it's a very terrible thing, and the EFCC is always assisting, you know, agencies and entities, not when they are defrauded. There is a modality in place to prevent all of these things, to prevent hacking, to prevent through a lot of preventive framework, education, enlightenment, interaction, engagement, collaboration, and all of those interagency interaction across the world. You know, so yes, the internet crime has a very negative potential of affecting the world. But as a commission, the EFCC is leading in the fight, and we are trying as much as possible to assist industries, individuals, and entities across the world, you know, to avoid this kind of criminality that may bring up the figure that you have just stated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because from 445 to 10.5 trillion
we are
is
positive that may not be, because of the so many preventive framework,
exactly,
because of international collaboration, engagement, and people are getting conscious of all of this criminality, and they are putting their hands together, and they are checking all of these ways and means they are perpetrating the crime.
I actually wanted to ask what strategies the EFCC is employing, you know, to combat cyber crimes, and the achievements so far that you've made with the policies that you...
I will tell you about our convictions. In the first 1 year of President Tinubu administration, the commission secured about 3,175 convictions.
Oh.
And we made recovery of well
within
over,
1 year.
Within 1 year, recovery well over 164 billion. That is in naira, and we have quite a number of figures in other currencies, by way of recoveries, by way of convictions, you know. And I may not tell you ways and means of because if I make it public, then the preventive framework, the architecture that we are using, the fact that we use it become public knowledge.
Yes, yes.
But we do enlightenment. We do public awareness. We do interagency collaboration. We do intercontinental interaction and operations. We have had calls of collaborating with some agencies like the FBI, like the Metropolitan Police, like the Serious Fraud Office in the UK, and Scotland Yard, and all of these agencies across the world, you know, to check, to minimize, to break syndicates, and to ensure that all of these criminals are brought to book. You know, so through our operations, engagement, international collaboration, exchange of information and intelligence, you know, we are able to check some of these things. And of course, we also have our own technology that we are using that is known to all. That is our trade secret, you know, that is not for the public. But suffice to say that we are working, and we are ahead, just like I told you, we are ahead of these people. And we are trying as much as possible to break their ranks and to bring this crime, you know, to the barest minimum.
Okay, so let's go on a quick break, and when we come back, this discussion will continue. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is Youthconnect coming to you from Trust TV, and we've been having a discussion with Mr. Dele Oyewale, who is the media aid, publicity, and the spokesman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
So I appreciate the fact that, you know, you've mentioned a lot of things the EFCC has been doing. But how does the EFCC collaborate with international enforcement agencies, you know, to tackle the cross-border cyber crimes that is going on?
Yeah, we have a very active and robust engagement and collaborative modality with so many international agencies. Just some few weeks back, the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, the American Bureau of Investigation came visiting, he was here, and we had a lot of interactions. You know, our engagement and collaboration has to do with joint operations. You know, we conduct joint operations. If there is an operation, whether here or abroad, we collaborate in our operational work. We collaborate in training. We collaborate in intelligence gathering and sharing. We collaborate in tracking of criminals. I'm sure you have heard about Interpol.
Yes, definitely.
So today in the world, there is no cover for any criminal. There is no, because there is no border restriction, there is no territorial restriction. Any criminal can be picked up in any nation because of international collaboration and engagement. You understand? That makes it very easy for us to work. You know, we exchange intelligences and we track movement. And of course, we do quite a number of things together to ensure that all of these criminals, they don't have a safe haven in any nation of the world.
Okay, so how about when you get these criminals, especially the young people that are perpetrating this the piece of these people on the internet? How do you prosecute them, and what are the achievements so far?
Yeah,
what is the even reason for most of the cases that you have for going into the cybercrime?
No, we normally start with arrest, and when an arrest is made, of course we do profiling. After profiling, any suspect that is indicted, if we have enough reason to go to court, then we charge such a suspect to court. And of course, when we charge them to court, we present our matter, they present their matter, and the court will adjudicate. The court will decide. We have almost 98% success rate concerning our prosecution. I just told you about 3,175 convictions in 1 year.
1 year.
And many of these convictions came from internet fraudsters.
Are most of them young people, or there are some older people like politicians?
Internet fraudsters, they are young people, usually between the age range of 18 and 30, undergraduates, some graduates already who just find themselves indulging in some kind of criminality. So the age range is within the youth bracket, is within the youth age range. And we have quite a lot of conviction in that regard. And we are also trying as much as possible to educate them, to conscientize them, that's why across the country now we have what we call the zero tolerance clubs in institutions of higher learning. We have the integrity clubs at the level of secondary and primary schools, to engage them, to drive awareness, to bring them together, and to let them see the risk, that is the inherent risk in this kind of practice. Because if a young fellow of 30, 25, 28 is already convicted and carrying the tag of an ex-convict, it's like building a border, it's like building a barrier, against their future. And my chairman, the executive chairman of the EFCC, Mr. Oyewale, is really worried that young people indulging in this kind of thing and having this kind of barrier against their future prospects is worrisome. And that is why we are driving enlightenment. We are moving across the country to ensure that young people are separated from this kind of criminality. We are making headway. Yes, because we are also engaging stakeholders across the country to ensure that youth are separated from this kind of indulgence in internet crime.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a great achievement so far. But then, after arresting these young people, are there some of them that you've employed because of the bunch of knowledge that they have, decoding all this online?
There are some of them that we are working with. Some of them we engage them as influencers to now be talking to their generation about the inherent dangers in cybercrime. Some of them, after their conviction, we engage them in community service. We engage them online to begin to drive awareness against it. Some of them are employed as campaigners against internet fraud. And some of them that have aptitude and that have very, very residual knowledge of all of these things. The Commission is looking at ways and means of also building on their strength, on their skill. There is a new cybercrime research center that the EFCC is putting in place at the new EFCC Academy. The cybercrime research center is meant to bring out the potentials, is to tap into all the internal resources that they have, their competence in a more profitable, in a more socially beneficial way. You understand? So it's a research center, and it's a rehabilitative initiative to ensure that all of these people, we tap into their ingenuity, into their creativity, for a more profitable use. So it's one of the way of ensuring that these young people are not totally wasted.
Okay, so how does the EFCC, balance the need to combat cybercrime with the need to protect individual privacy and rights?
Yeah, we are a very sophisticated law enforcement agency. Our officers are very educated and we are very exposed. Whenever there is need for an operation, we just don't break and bust and barge into people's premises as is being alleged. And we don't do that. We will come with a warrant of arrest. You understand? And you know, for every arrest, if you have ever been to a scene of crime, an arrest is not a tea party. So whenever an arrest is to be done, there will be need for my employees or minimal force, you know, to ensure that the suspect is brought to book. But generally, the EFCC is moderated, is sophisticated, and is regulated in the way arrests are done. We don't, most of the insinuation that you get in the media about the regular EFCC operation is not so. Because we have what we call the standard operating practice, standard operating procedure for all of our officers. And any one of them that is found to have gone outside of our SOP, we have our internal disciplinary mechanism. You understand? There is the Department of Ethics and Integrity, you know, that look into any form of a complaint, genuine complaint, you know, against any of our officers. So we have a check and balance system, even within the commission. But ordinarily, when we go for operation, we are guided. We are a law-abiding agency. The rule of law is paramount and is sacred and is sacrosanct, and we pay attention to it. And of course, we don't intrude into people's privacy. We don't. No, we don't.
Okay, so how many years does a person get to face or get from the court after convicted as a crime, cyber crime?
It depends on the law. It depends on the law that, for example, somebody that is charged to court with the Advanced Fraud Act may take like 5 years. Some other people, if it is impersonation, it's also 5 years. But you see, it depends on the court, it depends on the judge, it depends on the counsel, the lawyers, and it also depends on the act that is used to charge the suspect. But I think what the court is doing now, they accept plea bargain, they bring down the years of conviction. Many of them are given 1 year, 2 years, you know, some of them less than that. And they will also give them some other conditions. You have to play to be of good behavior henceforth, and if you're a first-time offender, the law may be you know. So, because even the court is not so focused on imposing maximum penalty because of the need to reform this youth, because of the need to explore other alternatives of building them up. You understand? So we might not be talking about the years of imprisonment. Let us be talking about the modalities and framework that are put in place to ensure that these young people are reformed and they are redirected to a more socially engaging, socially beneficial, you know, work.
Okay, there's also, you know, on the internet we see a lot of stories going around about young people using companies to carry out money laundering. How do you get to find out if these companies are real, genuine, and how do you get to get the people that own the companies?
Well, you know, the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, which is a unit in the EFCC, there are so many ways they are, not only young people, that Nigerians are using to launder money through real exchange, the real estate industry, some of them through the jewelry, they sell jewelries, they do real exchange, automobile industry, some through law firms, and through so many other ways. You know, these people, this sector is called the non-designated financial sector. You know, all of this, there's a window that fraudsters are using, you know, to launder their money. But the EFCC is ahead of them. And the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering is tackling that. And we are getting very good sources.
Okay, so what message do you have for the young people out there?
The message I have for them is that criminality is not the way to any form of prosperity. Young people should use their skills, should use their innovation, should use their residual knowledge, should use their God-given talent in a more productive way. They can develop apps. They should be solution providers. Look at the Facebook, look at the X app and all of somebody develop all this. Our youth should recreate, they should redirect their energy to more useful, socially beneficial ventures, rather than indulging in criminality. There are opportunities are wide open, you know, for them to develop innovations, to come up with apps, to come up with solutions that can grow the economy, that can grow the nation, and that can also make them to be global players. You know, so they should just look the positive way. They should stop following the way of compromise, following the way of criminality, following the way of easy indulgence. You know, because those who take shortcuts, they are always cut short.
Yes.
So youth should know that when they take any shortcut, they can be cut short. And we don't want them to be cut short. Yes. That's why we are saying that they should follow the way that will be good for them and that will be good for the entire nation. Because
for any crime committed, there's a consequence.
There's a consequence.
And I like the fact that you said if you take a shortcut, you will get caught. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Dele. And we appreciate that you actually gave us your audience on this program.
Thank you so much.
He is the Media Aid and Publicity, also the spokesman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
Thank you so much.
And this is where we come to the end of this episode. Do join us again on another interesting episode where we'll get to bring youth and maybe an IT person to tell us what ways we can go to prevent this cyber crimes that is being carried out whippily by some of our youths. Remain Fatima Ahmed Musa. Bye for now.